The SEC on ESPN, part of Super Tuesday, presented by Hotels.com. And at Stegeman Coliseum in Athens, Georgia, our matchup, the Gators of Florida, the Bulldogs of Georgia. Two teams each at 7-5. A vital game with the NCAA tournament not that far away. The SEC standings look like this. LSU and Kentucky on top. South Carolina right now knotted in a barn burner with Missouri. You see Florida and Georgia at 7-5. All teams, at least the top four, want to stay in that top four, get a double bye in the SEC tournament that starts, believe it or not, 3 weeks from tomorrow. Partner, you know, you look at these two teams, great inside work by a couple of guys that are 15-8 guys, and there's only 4 of those in the SEC right now.
Well, and both of them are versatile, but in very different ways. I think when you look at Dorian Finney-Smith, he's so capable of attacking from the outside off the bounce. He's active on the glass. He's done exceptionally well. 3 double-doubles in his last 4 road games. But his versatility can stretch all the way to the three-point line. When you look at Yante Maten, his versatility is a little limited than Dorian Finney-Smith, but still really effective. One of the most improved players in the SEC. He's at his best when he catches the ball down deep, but he can stretch it to 17, in particular with the pick and roll. He needs to be able to dominate on the glass in this contest. You look at the numbers, the other 2 guys, Ben Simmons and Moses Kingsley, another one of the most improved players in the SEC. But we got 2 of the best at doing work, not only in the scoring column, but also getting on the glass.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Mike White's Gators. Coming in tonight, a couple of changes. Casey Hill and Justin Leon in the starting lineup. The big guy, 6'11", 255.
We got the strength emoji down there because he needs to add some muscle underneath and be a physical presence.
Let's talk about J.J. Frazier's emoji. He needs to be a what?
Shooting star, and he was not a week ago when you and I saw him in Lexington. He's on his home floor. He needs to break out tonight and have a great game.
Gaines and Mann round out that veteran backcourt. Maten and Ogbede up front. Our officials tonight, Ron Gruber's got the ball in hand. Alandis Poole and Doug Sermons, the other 2. 2 7-5 teams. Desperate for an SEC win. Florida has not played well in conference road games, 1-4 on the road. Georgia is 5-1 at home in conference games. That's how tough it's been for just about everybody to win on the road this year in the Southeastern Conference.
And that's just not limited even to the SEC. You look around the landscape, Oregon just lost 2 in the Bay Area in the Pac-12. It's hard to find wins, and so if you lose one at home, like Florida did to Alabama, you got to get one back.
Florida barely got a shot away in their opening possession with the shot clock winding down. Justin Leon missed from 3-point range, and Georgia brings it down with J.J. Frazier.
Key for Georgia, they're going to have to handle the pressure of Florida's defense. They have the worst turnover margin in the SEC, so they've got to value the basketball here on their home floor.
9 on the shot clock for Georgia as they're struggling a little bit to find their offense. Ogbede with a hook shot. He's a good rebounder, but he's not a huge threat offensively.
I would have rather seen Yante Maten have that opportunity on that opening possession.
The 3 on the way from Dorian Finney-Smith. The rebound loose. Picked up by Leon underneath. Fresh clock for Florida.
Florida, not a great outside shooting team. Now, they went through a stretch where they were shooting the ball well. Now they've kind of come back to the pack a little bit. A good decision by Casey Hill that time to drive in and get to that mid-range jump shot.
Mike White was telling us his decision-making against Alabama not so good the other day in a home loss to the Tide. And here's Georgia's first turnover. 2-on-1 lob underneath. Nothing J.J. Frazier could do about Justin Leon slamming it home.
Well, and that's why you've got to value the basketball. And we mentioned it in the opening possession of Georgia. Florida is going to press them. They're going to pressure them in the half court. They'll pick them up full court throughout the course of the game. The guards of Georgia have to have some composure.
Here's Maten's first touch. Backs in, the left hand won't go. Ogbede, the offensive rebound, and he's fouled on the floor.
You have to be strong with the basketball when you're bringing up the floor, and that was a lazy pass from J.J. Frazier. And that lazy pass led to the easy finish.
A 4-0 start for Florida. Pick and roll, Maten from Frazier. And last touch by Florida. Mike White in his first year in Gainesville, 16-9 coming in, 5th year overall after 4 successful seasons at Louisiana Tech. Took over in May of 2015 for Billy Donovan, who went on to the NBA.
Seems like that's working out okay.
It is 40, pretty good.
More than 40 wins going to the All-Star break. It's also working out pretty good for the Florida Gators. And Michael White's got this program trending in the right direction. You can see with the level in which they compete.
Kenny Gaines missed a three. Whistle, foul on the floor. It's going to be Anagbuna.
Well, we mentioned his muscle and his size, and boy, they missed that last year when he had to sit out for the transfer season. They didn't have that prototypical big, did the Florida Gators. But the one thing he cannot afford to do is to get in foul trouble and take himself out of the game.
We were talking about that at the shoot-arounds today, really with both coaches. You stay out of foul trouble, you hit a few threes, and you don't have a lot of turnovers, and your chances of winning are a lot better than if you don't do those things. And that's a good start for Georgia. As we said, J.J. Frazier struggled a week ago on Super Tuesday, knocks down his opening three.
Well, you expect at home that he's going to be focused and comfortable. Stepped right into that one.
Behind the back pass from Hill. He gets it back. He'll try another outside jumper. And it's Maton with a rebound.
And Georgia would be more than happy to watch him shoot threes.
On the drive, Charles Mann, a lot of control. Trying to draw the foul and can't. Hill the other way and all the way. And the follow is Justin Leon, who's off to a good start.
Well, what Leon brings to the table is just effort.
Hustle.
And that's something that they lack from time to time. Robinson has been inconsistent in that role. And so Leon takes those minutes and says, look, if you're going to lay him on the table and give him right to me, I'm going to take him.
Maton's man fell down. His shot didn't. Obede, tough rebound. That's what we said. That's his role for Georgia. Get on the glass. Man still trying to get to the free throw line. Won't draw the foul. Mark Fox, his 7th year at Georgia, back-to-back 20-win seasons. Only one of 2 Georgia coaches that ever pulled that off. 3 20-win seasons in all. Tubby Smith was the other guy to go back-to-back 20-plus. Mark's got an opportunity to do that again if they finish strong here in the last 6 games of the regular season.
Well, he's built this program up into consistency as far as winning runs in the SEC.
Boy, that is going to be a big boost of confidence for Kenny Gaines. He's playing with a couple fingers on his right hand that he injured against Mississippi State. He had tape on those fingers at the shoot-around today. And then he shot about 200 more shots after practice as he gets the rebound. About 100 of those without the tape. I said, Kenny, is it going to be tape or not? He said, the doctor says tape. I said, what do you say? He said, I hope I win the argument.
Well, he won the argument. And Yante Maton didn't win the position right there. He had great positioning underneath. Just turned, unable to knock it down. But 2 3-pointers have tied this game up at 6. It's going to be even throughout.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com, the obvious choice for hotels. And in part by Allstate. Are you in good hands? You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
This is the 211th meeting between these 2 teams. Florida with a slight lead. Georgia leads in Athens. First game this year was Florida's back on the 2nd day of January at the O-Dome, 77-63. They have won 19 of the last 23. Really, it's about 3 games where Georgia didn't play good at all. Texas A&M, Kentucky last Tuesday, and Florida. And there's probably a couple other ones.
Well, that one, the one at Florida, too. I mean, look, Florida won the game, and they probably could have pulled away even more so, but they shot 24-42
from the line.
From the free throw line in that game.
But I think those are the 3 that are stuck in Mark Fox's craw a little bit on the season, and probably the Georgia fans for that matter.
I think that Ole Miss game probably stands out a little bit to coach as well.
Yeah, that was the last 2.5 seconds in Stephon Moody. That's a whole other story, which he keeps bringing up every time we see him.
Good job defensively, going to the zone. They're switching everything up top.
3 to shoot. Gino trying to hang in there defensively, and at the last moment, Finney Smith knocks down the jumper.
Florida's got to figure it out. They're 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. They're 4 of 5 inside of it. Stop shooting threes, and your efficiency level is going to go way up. This is not a good shooting team. They haven't been a good shooting team all season long. They had a nice 6-game stretch where they shot the ball well, but that was more of an aberration than an actual reality.
And before J.J. Frazier's shot, a foul in the lane.
And you talk about offense for Coach White, and you see the points per game, field goal percentage. 3-point field goal percentage, by the way, is up from the last time that I saw them.
And they're 12th right now.
And it was around 28% at the time I last saw this team in person. So that's actually improved. But again, not consistent enough.
Nice job keeping it alive. Finney Smith with the tap out to Hill. So it's Gino and Gaines and Frazier on the top of the Georgia zone right now. Trying to feed it inside. They got it inside, but missed the reverse layup by Justin Leon.
Both these programs hang their hat on the defensive end of the floor, in particular the half-court defense.
And Frazier's going to go to the free throw line. Georgia, for much of the year, was #1 in the SEC in field goal defense. Right now, they're #2. Casey Hill picks up the foul.
You'll see this updated. South Carolina takes the loss.
Wow.
At Missouri.
Doesn't change their positioning, but obviously it drops them another game.
It changes their position in the NCAA tournament, though.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, you cannot take that loss. And Wes Clark off the team. You go there, you're trying to bounce back from and that was an emotional letdown game against Kentucky. And what concerns me for Frank Martin's team is it seemed like everything was building towards this moment. This moment of, okay, if we knock off Kentucky, now we're legitimate.
Right.
They got thumped on Saturday on their home floor.
And obviously deflated them enough to go on the road.
The hangover impact. They let Kentucky beat them twice, essentially.
The Battle of Columbia's goes surprisingly to Missouri, a team that won't even be in the SEC tournament. And obviously the NCAA. But
well, and that just opens it up now where you're looking at the winner of this game is going to be tied for third.
Yeah. That's what we talked about last week. The knot that was starting to present itself. In the top 4 in the standings, top really 7. There's 2 games that separate 1st and 7th place. And this one, the winner of this one would put them at least temporarily in the same category, South Carolina. Joe Lunardi, there's what he's got as far as the teams in the SEC, or the NCAA tournament from the SEC.
Well, Texas A&M's got to wake up tonight. They have lost 5 consecutive games inside conference play. 5 out of the last 6 because of the game against Iowa State. They're at a 5 seed. They were at a 2 line. So they've got to get going against Ole Miss later on tonight.
Alabama's the hottest team in the conference right now, having won 4 straight conference games. The next hottest is Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Vandy, and this Georgia team, having won 3 of the last 4. So it doesn't take much right now to separate these clubs at all.
Look, you go on a run and win 3 games, 4 games right now, you're stepping up. What a pass.
And goaltending as Kessler will get the basket.
A beautiful pocket pass from Charles Mann. That was a very small window to drop that one through. Experienced guard play for the Georgia Bulldogs. You drive, you penetrate, everybody reacts to you because you do a great job getting the free throw line, and he just fed his teammate.
So Finney Smith with the goaltending, and Georgia with its first lead. Up 1. Oh, nice look down low, and all alone, Casey Hill. Somebody lost Casey Hill on the baseline.
Well, if you're active against the zone, once you give it the ball, you can find a crease, and a couple of times Florida's been able to do that. Leon missed the last opportunity, but that time Casey Hill made it pay.
Kessler missed a 3 for Georgia, and a turnover by Florida on the other end.
Well, watch Casey Hill sneaks in behind the back line of the defense, and poor communication by Kessler. I mean, he has got to have awareness.
Casey Hill with that face mask, they didn't recognize that he was down there.
Well, when you play the zone, the biggest thing that people make mistakes on, not communicating. You and I, we never have that problem.
No, not at all.
At dinner last night, we were communicating. I got a treat last night. Got to meet the whole fam.
Yeah. Nice move by Edwards. He doesn't finish it, though. Mike Edwards, a freshman that everyone seems to think has a lot of potential, but he hasn't really, other than flashes, hasn't been as consistent as they hoped he'd be. Here's a steal by Gino. Gino's going to try to take it all the way himself.
He should have gone more towards the basket, though, than fading away. I mean, he had Casey Hill in front of him. If he's worried about Casey Hill blocking his shot, stop, find a guard, and set up your offense.
Which is what Florida will do right here with 11:35 remaining in the half, and up by 1. Again, Casey Hill all alone underneath.
Well, I don't know what was worse, the poor communication by Georgia to leave him that open, or the fact that Casey Hill missed it. And Georgia's got to start talking on the defensive end of the floor. Otherwise, Florida's going to have ample opportunities to score.
Gino for 3. Andy Paul Gino, his 9th 3 of the year, and Georgia by 2.
You get the ball inside, even into the elbow in the free throw line area, the defense has to react.
And Finney Smith had the shot blocked, but Edwards got him with the body.
Well, 2-point lead for the Georgia Bulldogs, and 2/3 of the way through conference play. I'll give you my picks right now for the SEC Awards. Some of my decisions, they might actually surprise you.
I can't even wait for the end of the commercial.
I know. It's a great tease. Stay with us.
Super Tuesday presented by Hotels.com. Mr. Farnham, I would love to go in your file and see what you have for us.
As you mentioned, 2/3 of the way through conference play. If today was the voting day, here's what I get. Coach of the Year, Avery Johnson. No Dazon Ingram. Kobe Eubanks never even stepped on campus, and yet they're the hottest team in the conference right now. Most improved player, sure, I could go with Kevin Punter, Moses Kingsley. I'm going Yante Maten. Freshman of the year, no surprise, although Jamal Murray is pushing him from Kentucky. My player of the year, stop, drop, shut him down, open up shot. Tyler Ulis has been amazing for Kentucky. He has been the best point guard in college basketball, period, especially for the last 10 games.
He was 6'5", he'd be a lottery pick. He has been sensational, and I know a lot of people are shocked you didn't say Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' numbers are going to be off the charts, but who does more for their team? I'm going with you.
And you look, Tyler Ulis, and I understand there's a lot of great guards in college basketball this year, in particular at the point guard position. But take Saturday, for example. The head coach was gone, and Kenny Payne, the assistant coach, said he looked at Tyler and said, "You're running the offense. I'm going to focus on the defense. You've got complete control."
And he went career highs in points and assists, 27 and 12, not bad.
That's like a quarterback that's in such control that, like, you know, a Peyton Manning type, where you don't have to even, the offense coordinator doesn't have to even call a play.
Well, Peyton, for the most part, has been his offensive coordinator for about the last 15 years. Almost the midway point of this game. It's first half. Gaines hit his first 3, not that time.
Good screen by Maten and good recovery by Chiozza, though, who left J.J. Frazier to try to recover and contest that shot.
Chiozza dribbled into the paint and into some traffic.
And his assist-to-turnover ratio was outstanding for a large portion of the season. He himself has mentioned there's a little mental wear-down effect. He's turned the ball over a little too much recently.
Finney Smith on the baseline. All white jerseys underneath. Ogbede with the board. Maten asking for it. Finally got it. Ogbede in the elbow. How about that? Big Derek averaging 3.6. His first basket. Coming off career high 13 rebounds against Mississippi State. So that's how vital he is on the inside. Had that shoulder injury early in the season, or he would have been the starter a long time ago.
Well, we're used to seeing that big-on-big pass, though, for Georgia. And you remember last year with Nemi and Marcus Thornton, they worked so well moving the ball, and they got to develop that between Yante and Ogbede.
So the Dogs with a 3-point lead. That's the biggest they've had so far in the first half. Maten on the outside. Going to go baseline or try to. Gaines 3 off the back, and a battle between 2 Gators for the rebound, and that one's won by Egbunu. Chiozza looked like he might have gotten away with a walk. As it is, Egbunu's fouled by Ogbede. Wednesday night at 9, college basketball's greatest rivalry one more time. Duke and North Carolina at the Dean Dome. Wednesday night hoops, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
I cannot wait for that game. You look at the meetings as ranked opponents.
74 times as ranked teams.
And it's added to it again this time. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable and how close all those games have been. To me, it's like the Red Sox Yankees. You know, nationally, I think sometimes people go, you know, great. It's Duke, North Carolina. We got to listen. It's the best rivalry in college basketball. Growing up on the West Coast, when those two teams matched up, you stop what you're doing and it becomes appointment television. And tomorrow night, it'll be exactly that.
Egbuno, you saw back-to-back double-doubles, 5 on the year, and not normally that great a free throw shooter, but knocked down those 2. Frazier waits for the traffic to go by, hits the jumper, but a whistle and a foul underneath before the shot. Chiozza picks up his first foul.
Trying to fight through the screen, too much contact. I think that's what Coach Fox, when he's talking to us, he wanted to put them through a lot of on-ball screens. He wanted to try to get them into some foul trouble.
Frazier got a pick and got just good enough a look to knock down the deuce.
See, that's a byproduct of that last foul call. Now you're not fighting through the screen quite as hard because you don't want to pick up another foul, and that's what freed up J.J. Frazier.
And that's the first basket for Kayvon Allen, the sensational freshman for Florida. Averaging 11.5 points a game. Nice feed down low to the big man. Hits the deck after he makes the shot. Agbede with 4. And Chiozza is fouled.
You go back to that previous possession. Watch how J.J. Frazier got open. Here comes the on-ball screen right here, and that screen right there is going to catch Chiozza, who's not fighting through it quite as hard because he just picked up the personal foul going into the leg of the screener on the last possession.
Allen on the inbound knocks down a 3. Back-to-back outside jumpers by Kayvon Allen, and we're even at 18 at the 8-minute mark. Kenny Gaines trying to shake Allen on the baseline. Frazier almost took that. He's got that kind of range in 3-point territory. 5 on the shot clock. Well, got to take it now.
Not a good possession.
Nope.
Got to get something better than that.
Chiozza feeds down low. Bring it back out. Allen, can he hit 3 in a row? Not quite.
I love Kayvon Allen's game. I think he's one of the more underrated freshmen in all of college basketball, and he's going to mature and grow into a heck of a player for Florida.
Another foul before the shot. Tied for the second time tonight at 18 with 7:19 to go first half. Tied at 18 here in the first half, 7:19 remaining. Georgia doing a good job on their 3-point shooting. Not so much for Florida.
Well, what I want you to notice about that 3-point shooting, great weak side screen by Agbede. That time you get the ball inside, your defense sucks in, and you find Kessler. Now another great weak side screen, that time by Kessler, opens up a high-quality 3-point shot. Right now, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc are the Georgia Bulldogs. Florida,
1 for 10.
Yeah, not good.
And that's coming off a 3 for 21 against Alabama. So sometimes you live by it, you die by it.
But you're 6 for 9 inside the arc, so you've got to stop settling if you're Florida.
Yeah.
Keep the pressure on Georgia at the defensive end of the floor. Turn down the open 3-point look, especially when you're not knocking them down.
Gaines on the drive, and it stripped, got it back. And the rebound off to Kayvon Allen. And he's going to try to take it coast to coast. Nope, he kicks it out to Robinson. Casey Hill trying to pack it down low. 2 to shoot. Out to Robinson, who had to take it. Edwards snatches down the rebound. Charles Mann has yet to score for Georgia. Mayton. That's usually his shot. Little half hook.
Now for Florida, be active. Don't wait till 3 seconds left to go on the shot clock and then kick it out for a 3. Those are becoming empty possessions in a tie ball game.
That one scripts. Lead pass not good. Georgia throws it away. That's their third turnover. NBA Friday presented by State Farm. Pacers square off with Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City. Speaking of Billy Donovan, 8 o'clock. Then at 10:30, Celtics take on the Jazz. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown charged by Dew at 7. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Take a look at the records of first-year coaches for Florida Gators, and not a lot of success. Mike White has been able to turn what was a losing season a year ago into a winning one so far for the Florida Gators. But that matchup between Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Paul George 1 point shy of breaking Wilt's record in the All-Star game on Sunday. Russell Westbrook back-to-back MVP. A lot of defense played in the All-Star game.
There was.
Good news was it was very similar watching James Harden play. His defense in the All-Star game was very similar to what we see when he plays for the Rockets.
Hill with a missed 3 again at the shot clock buzzer.
The trade deadline looming. A couple of moves today in the NBA. Chris Broussard was all over it on SportsCenter all day long. I think he's going to live on the set for the next 2 days.
No doubt. Let's see if Mann tries to drive like that, but an offensive foul.
It's been a rough start for Charles Mann. What he does as well as any guard in the country is draw contact and get to the free throw line. But that time he initiated the contact.
Yep.
So it's different than drawing the contact if you're the one dipping your shoulder into the defender.
Good call by Ron Gruber, who's down there on the baseline. Well, the lid's been covered here for both teams. In the last almost 3 minutes, Kenny Smith will try to end that. Gaines long rebound and had it knocked away. Brandon Francis Ramirez in the lineup for Florida.
This game has come to a screeching stop.
It's doing good at the beginning.
We saw a screeching halt to the offense last week for Georgia.
Boy, did we ever. 18 minutes and change without a field goal.
Right now, Georgia's over 3 minutes and 50 seconds without a field goal.
We don't need that to happen again, or I'm going to start drinking coffee again. Here's Gaines. Kessler got an opening. And Gaines hustles for the rebound.
Well, Kessler was back on defense. I mean, it was good awareness to try to get back in defensive transition, but your team had the ball.
And somehow Gaines went between 3 Gators to pick up the loose ball and give Georgia another opportunity here at the 4-minute mark. Frazier up under. And possession arrow is going to keep it on Georgia's end. So we'll see if somebody can score after our next TV timeout. 3:58 remaining. We're still tied at 18.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2016 John R. Wooden Award Men's Player of the Year, and Hampton. Wherever the road takes you, we'll be there to make your trip even better.
I'm Matt Namver. Coming up in the Jeep halftime report, Seth Greenberg and Jay Williams. Jay, what happened with West Virginia and Texas?
Well, Texas was able to do what they've been doing, contest and contain.
Also, the Tigers roll in Columbia in SEC clash for South Carolina and Missouri. All that more is coming up on that Jeep halftime report as Seth and Jay exchange fist bumps. Brad, back to you.
All right, Ed, now we're going to try to get you a field goal again before halftime. 18 apiece. You were over in the huddle.
I just went over to the huddle for Georgia, and he said we want to go a little old school right now. And they talked about not great shot blockers underneath it. You've got to be strong and get over your shoulder. They want to get Yante Maten going underneath here instead of an on-ball screen.
Georgia's gone about 4.5 minutes without a field goal. Florida over 4:15. Maten on the outside and a 3.
Oh, there goes the old school get the ball underneath like Coach was talking about in that last time out.
That's his second 3 of the year.
Well, he's the perfect guy to break the tie.
Had to be. Had to be. And again, the back door is open with the guards. In this case, Chiozza was all alone underneath, as Hill has been a couple of times tonight. Georgia's going to have to figure that out. Nice job defensively, though, to block the shot. Turn it back over to J.J. Frazier. Maton again wants it down low, but lost the handle. Nice hustle by Florida, but still going to be Georgia ball.
And the thing that they talked about in the timeout for Coach Fox was they don't have great shot blockers underneath, so you got to be strong with the ball, utilize your shoulder, create an angle, and he was looking at Yante Maton trying to encourage him to do that. And they talked about late shot clock situations. They want to make sure that they come up and set that good on-ball screen because they feel that action has been positive for them.
Officials stopped play momentarily. I'm not sure what the reason was. Shot clock, I guess.
Coach Fox wanted the shot clock to be reset.
Here we go. Frazier, three. And Florida with the rebound. Under 3 to play in the half, and Georgia by 3. Finney Smith trying to even it up. And he's going to hear it from the student body.
We got the race for 4th place right now. Really, we could even change that to the race for 3rd. The winner of this game is going to be in 3rd after South Carolina's surprising loss at Missouri tonight.
Their first back-to-back losses this year. South Carolina lost by 5. They shot 33% from the floor. Remember, they started the year 15-0. They are 6-5 since that point. But that one's not going to look good on their resume going to Columbia, Missouri, and losing there. Kick ball, Georgia inbounds. Kenny Gaines says, I need a little help, fellas. Gaines going to take the jumper over a double team. And a foul on Florida underneath is going to be on Justin Leon. Todd Gurley, NFL Rookie of the Year, former Georgia Bulldog star.
And now a Los Angeles Ram.
Los Angeles Ram.
I'm excited in Los Angeles to get the NFL back. At least right now they are.
Yeah. Well, you can't wait to get tickets, I know that. Gino, nice entry pass into a big day. Left hook by big number 34. He's got 6 points.
Yeah, he just did a good job posting up, sealing deep. He carved out his real estate and made a simple move.
I guess he's heard me the last couple of weeks say he's not much of an offensive threat. He actually has as many points as J.J. Frazier in the first half. Leon up off the window, almost got that to go. Instead, foul on Kenny Gaines.
You go to the last possession, though, and what I love is this is exactly what Mark Fox was talking about. Look at the post position where he's going to catch this ball. You got to watch his feet. He pins and seals. Both feet were in the paint. His left foot stepped out right when he went to catch it. And then no dribble, no hesitation, turned right over that shoulder and dropped it in. Beautiful job pinning and sealing and determining where you're catching the ball as a post player.
Justin Leon has had trouble from the free throw line to the tune of 37% on the year as he misses the first of 2. He's a junior college All-American last year at Shawnee, Illinois. Native of Conway, Arkansas. He played really well against Ben Simmons and LSU defensively, and he tucked that one in. So he's got 5. Finney Smith comes in and Leon goes out. Frazier around a Maton pick.
A mismatch there for a second. You had Chioza switch, and he was on Maton. Frazier should have dribbled the ball back and dumped it down to the post.
10 on the shot clock. Tough cross-court pass to Gino. And
stepped out of bounds.
Turnover. Yeah, we talked about Georgia's struggles last week against Kentucky, 22%. Mississippi State quite a bit better tonight, 31.
Well, but yet they have the lead, and a big part of that is because their commitment also to the defensive end of the floor. Florida's only shooting 27%. So you're shooting 31, but your opponent's shooting 27.
Chioza.
And that's falling.
Now Allen. Both missed threes. I got this one.
Oh, nice hands, partner. You gotta give Mr. Nessler some love. I mean, that's a nice job, partner. We can dap it up too.
Yeah.
guys in the studio aren't the only guys that can give fist bumps. Watch Mr. Nestler's hands. Got it. Look at that. Beautiful. One hand.
Nice follow through on the return.
That was a nice, very good job.
Timeout. Georgia timeout, 1:03 to play in the half. When we are done here, Steve Levy and the connoisseur of puck, Barry Melrose, Special Edition Sports Center at night, live from the Levy Lounge. They'll be joined by the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Break down all the hockey highlights. And believe it or not, pitchers and catchers report tomorrow. You got to be kidding me. Sports Center at night after our game right here on ESPN.
I'm so excited for pitchers and catchers to report. It's an even year. That means the Giants will win the World Series this year.
You got it figured out already.
I can't wait. October in the Bay.
My Braves were picked to win 65 games, so I'm not as excited as you are.
Well, the Mets and the Cubbies obviously going to have high expectations heading into the season.
Frazier on the baseline, got away momentarily. 8 on the shot clock. Maton inside on a late pass, didn't get the rim though, and it's still Georgia ball with 4 to shoot.
Partner, he didn't extend up with his left arm. He kind of just, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex'd it towards the basket instead of really going up hard and extending up with his left hand.
Gator armed it actually. Here's Frazier off the inbound. Got the 3-and-1. Might only be a 2. It is, but it's a chance for a 3. Boy, with that many seconds remaining, to hit this shot is big right before halftime.
Well, and he's going to come off the screen into this area right here, and this is designed obviously out of bounds execution. Well done. And that's one aspect of the game that I think every coach, you know, Seth in the studio would agree. You get about 8 points on out of bounds underneath. You put yourself in a really good situation, those special situations. Out of bounds underneath, side out of bounds, late shot clock. How do you execute? And a good job there by Georgia.
And then you've got the number 6 free throw shooter in the SEC trying to make this a 3-point play. Can't get it still. It's a 6-point advantage. Biggest of the night by either team. Final 30 seconds of the half.
Look at that, 0 for their last 10. It's been 8 minutes without a made field goal for Florida. And how does that impact them, not just at the offensive end, but defensively? They can't get in their press. They can't extend out if you don't see the ball actually go through the rim.
And Mike White's going to take a timeout with 17 seconds remaining. Trying to somehow get another field goal because it's been about 7.5 minutes without a field goal. Mike White, his dad, of course, I think everybody knows, he at Duke. And Mike, the player at Ole Miss, started basically all 4 years as a point guard, then went on to La Tech, over 100 wins in 4 seasons. And then the beginning of May, he took over when Billy Donovan went to the pros, and here he is in year number 1. He's done a nice job. They had that stretch, and Sean kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, from about the middle of January to the first week of February. They were probably the hottest team in the SEC. And then they've gone backwards a little bit more like they played a year ago.
Well, you know, look, they had the big win against West Virginia, and everybody got excited. Then they went to Kentucky, and they lost. So when teams lose to Kentucky, all of a sudden something goes wrong. South Carolina loses. Now they're kind of spiraling a little bit. Right. I think for Florida, that was a devastating loss. They got punched in the face, and then they've struggled to get back up off the mat to the level of consistency we saw during that stretch you alluded to.
4 on the shot clock, 5 on the game clock. Allen missed the outside jumper. Kenny Gaines going to try from about 70.
There's something about you and I. Teams just go into a funk and have trouble scoring. Florida hasn't scored in over 8 minutes. Have we seen this narrative before?
It's all our fault. 25-19.
But you got great hands, partner.
Time for the Jeep halftime report. Seth and Jay standing by with admin, guys.
All right, Brad, thank you very much. It is indeed the Jeep halftime report.
You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
It is Rivalry Week. These two play twice a year. First one was prettier than this one. Florida won on their home floor. This has been a struggle for the Gators. There's the stats, 24%. It's been quite a while since they've scored a field goal.
Well, you look at it, and 11 straight field goals missed, and there's a reason for that as we go to the ATT fast analysis. late shot clock and just settling. It's like those commercials I see on TV. People just settling all the time. You can't settle. You got to be able to knock down shots and be aggressive. And late shot clock, when you're not a great three-point shooting team and you're 1 for 17, and to kind of put this into perspective, it's after 10 o'clock. The last time that Florida's made a field goal was 9:28 p.m.
About 37 minutes ago. That's not good.
It's not good.
No.
Yeah, halftime is part of that, but you've got to be able to knock down shots when you're on the road, and it's not like Georgia's been so efficient offensively that they've separated themselves and really pulled away here.
Brad Nessler and Sean Farnham with you from Stegman Coliseum, where we can only assume the second half is going to be a little more active than the first. But it's 2 7-5 teams, more importantly, that are trying to move into that spot where they could possibly end up 4th in the conference, with the conference tournament set 3 weeks from tomorrow. If you finish in the top 4, you've got a double bye, and that's what they're working at. Not to mention an NCAA berth, a possibility for both. It's a remote possibility for Georgia right now. Bracketology, Joel Lunardi and his group had Florida already in, but if they lose this game, I'm not so sure.
Obviously, a point of emphasis coming out of the break is to not settle for those three-point shots. Twice they get the ball down low to Egbunu.
And Egbunu, that was his first field goal of the night.
First field goal in a long time.
In a long time. 8 minutes and 41 seconds of clock time, but as we said, almost 40 minutes on your watch. Maton on the inside, missed with the left hand. So Florida, a golden opportunity here to tighten things up immediately in the opening minute and change. Nice spin. Baseline spin by Egbunu. Boy, he left Maton in the dust. So Georgia's lead cut down to 2. Maton misses the jumper, and Florida can tie or lead.
That's exactly what I meant to. All those shooting woes, all the troubles that they had in the first half, yet they didn't pull away. There was no separation.
Gaines pulls down the miss by Egbunu, who has the opening 4 points of the half.
And has attempted every shot in the half so far for Florida.
And O'Dede. That's 8 points for him. That's how many he had in the first game between these two teams. Starters are on the floor for the Gators. And losing it out of bounds is Finney Smith.
Well, take a look at the last 2 buckets. You're going to see Ogbede move. They cover on the screen. Both guys go to the ball. That's what left them open. And then Egbunu underneath. Watch the quick spin move. Deontay Maton's playing on his outside. He spins baseline. Nobody's there, able to finish at the rim. And Florida needs more of that. They need to engage him in the offense here in the second half. In the first meeting between these two teams, he had 4 dunks in the first half alone.
Charles Mann still scoreless for Georgia. And the rebound off the miss, Casey Hill. And he found a little avenue. And a late whistle and a foul. And it's going to be on Mann. That's 2 on Charles Mann.
Really interesting when you look at the numbers in the first half. We're getting 1 of 17 shooting from beyond the arc for the Florida Gators. Inside the arc, they were 6 of 12.
As you said earlier, pretty much tells you that that's where they should be going.
And that's what the three-point shot chart looked like in the first half. And that's not a pretty shot chart.
That one was Davon Allen over there on the baseline.
Kevin Hart did better than that in the competition versus Draymond Green over the weekend.
And another whistle. This foul's going to be on Kavon Allen on the baseline. That's 2 on Allen. Egbunu has 2. Chiozza has 2. 3 minutes into the half. Georgia by 3.
Look how stagnant the offense is, though. I mean, the ball has been stuck in Kenny Gaines' hands, not going anywhere. Nobody's cutting. Nobody's really moving.
Frazier's just going to pull up and take the jumper and got it.
The one guy on the floor that can create a shot at any time, it's J.J. Frazier.
He's got 10. Here's Hill going the other way, and he draws a foul.
When everything's bogged down and you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, you put the ball in number 30's hands, and he's able to create. Now, he rejected the screen that was coming from Edwards that time. The defense was kind of cheating, anticipating him coming over the top of it. He knew that. He went baseline, created just enough separation to knock it down.
Casey Hill, a junior, at the free throw line. Averaging basically about the same numbers as a year ago. 8 points, 2.5 rebounds right now. Last year, 7.2 points, 2.3 rebounds. And 2 bad free throws.
And neither team seemingly wanting to just grab this game and create any kind of separation. You go on a 10-0 run in this game, and it's probably over.
Both coaches would love one right now. I know that. Payton got nice positioning down low. Went up, had it knocked away. Still going to be Georgia ball.
Well, he had nice positioning, and then he took himself out of position and buried himself underneath the basket.
You're right.
I mean, so where he caught the ball was outstanding. You'll see him catch the ball, and then he's literally directly under the rim. There's nothing you could do there.
Man penetrates, still hasn't gotten to the free throw line. He's tried. Florida's doing a nice job defending Charles Mann on those drives that usually send him to the stripe.
And the other thing that the Georgia Bulldogs did a great job of is limiting their turnovers in the first half as far as live ball turnovers.
Mann missed on the baseline jumper.
And as I mentioned, a big part of that is because Florida can't get in the pressure defense because they're not making shots.
Hard to press when you can't get a shot to drop. So 15:58 remaining in the ball game. Georgia was up by 6 at halftime. They maintain a 5-point lead. That guy's going to join us when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2016 John R. Wooden Award Men's Player of the Year, and Infiniti, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Back at Stegman Coliseum, Georgia with a 5-point lead over the Florida Gators. A guy that was one of the greatest Bulldogs ever joins us, Todd Gurley. National Football League Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, man. What a season.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know it was a tough comeback. I did the Clemson game where you went off your last season. And then, unfortunately, I was around when you hurt your knee against Auburn. I didn't know if I was going to see you play this past year. Tell us about how it went.
Oh, it was crazy. What's crazy about that today is that my trainer bought me my cleats that I tore my ACL in. Really? I was like, I don't know if I want those or not. But it was, it's definitely been a long road. But, I bounced back, and I'm glad to be where I'm at today.
Yeah, nice to be back in Athens.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Having a good time and just being at the game. I hate Florida, so I had to come to this game.
I was going to say, I know he's a Florida hater on top of being one of the greatest Bulldogs ever, but I didn't want to go there because
I'm an LA guy. I live in LA right now.
Oh.
It's buzzing out there, and the jerseys are flying off. For all the people back in Los Angeles watching this game, how excited are you, and how excited are you as an organization? Because you had the training camp last year in Oxnard where you played the Cowboys. You felt a little bit of that love.
Yeah, we definitely did. When we went back, it was a lot of love. A lot of fans came and supported. So we definitely looking forward to just getting back to LA, having our camp in LA, and just go there and get some wins, man. Have a winning season and have the fans something to be excited about.
You have to move again. You move for 1 year, you got to move again.
Yeah, exactly. So good thing I did rent a place in St. Louis, so I don't have to, sell a house.
What was the most challenging transition? A lot of these guys are getting ready right now. A lot of players even from here in Georgia are going to get ready for the combine. What would you tell them advice-wise as far as the biggest challenges and what to expect in year 1 in the NFL?
It's long. It's definitely a long season, but don't even get that in your brain, because at the end of the day, it's long. So just go to work, try to be prepared every day, you're not gonna feel good every day, but you know you still gotta look at the bigger picture of everything. And trust me, once the off season comes, you're gonna be so happy because you never got any time off like this in your life.
Deontay Maton hits the outside jumper as Georgia goes up by 7, goes right back down to 5 as Kayvon Allen on a drive. You know, you worked so hard to come back from the injury and then had such a tremendous year, and now you're being touted as, you know, the next Adrian Peterson and that kind of thing. Is a lot of pressure on you?
You know, it's not no pressure. You know, like I said, I've been playing football my whole life, so it's the same stuff I always do. But you just got to stay level-headed and just keep working hard. You know, and it's good when they're trying to compare you to another great player like Adrian himself. So, you know, definitely a great friend. I got to meet him at the Pro Bowl and seen him during the Super Bowl. So, you know, definitely got some good advice from him for sure.
I know these guys, probably Kenny and Charles, and some of these guys on the floor are good friends of yours.
Yeah, definitely
supported each other over the years.
Yep, good friends. Came in with them, class of 2012, and you know my boy's still here, so I'm glad to support them.
What was your feeling about Coach Rick going to Miami and a change with Kirby Smart? I know you get hand on.
It was. I was so mad. I think it was like right before. Did this happen like late December?
Yeah.
So it happened like right before I went out before we played the Seahawks. And I was like, hold on, Coach Rick got fired. My initial reaction, like, I didn't know, you know, what the situation was or anything. So I was just kind of pissed off. I was like, I'm going to take it out on the Seahawks.
Well, for a guy that wins 10 games every year, it was a shock to a lot of people. But, you know, a new start, and, you know, Kirby Smart did a great job at Alabama. We'll see how he does in Athens.
Yeah, for sure. So we're definitely excited to have him. And, you know, hopefully he'll do a great job next year.
Deontay Maton warming up a little bit from the outside.
You know, coming into this draft, you know, everybody said, nobody drafts a running back early anymore, right? It's a position that you can just find one at any point in time. I'm going to ask you off air because I want to find out what your thoughts are, because you're making people a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be running backs picked early because of this guy's success.
Hey, man, we'll let you go back and enjoy the game.
Appreciate it.
Good
Take
to see you,
care.
brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining with us. Timeout.
So,
Super Tuesday presented by Hotels.com, part of the SEC on ESPN. Brad Nessler, Sean Farnham. We thank Todd Gurley for being along with us. I just got a text from a friend of mine that said, you guys should call the Defensive Player of the Year awards, because every time we watch you, it's 33-26. And
sounds good to me. I'm all good for that. Oh, I did want to get, you know, Todd Gurley asked me off air about, you know, changing the perception of running backs in the NFL, where nobody was taking running backs in the first round. And he said he really feels as though Henry and Elliott should be first-round picks this year by the NFL, and he thinks him and Gordon did a nice job this year representing the rookie class.
Well, he's the next great one if he's not already great. And we appreciate him being along with us. My brother said he came home for Valentine's Day, and he said, you know how that goes. That lasts a week.
My brother-in-law back in L.A. said the only reason he might become a Rams fan is because of Todd Gurley. And that was a three-pointer made by Florida.
Kayvon Allen, that's 2 three-pointers for him.
He has both of them for the entire team. They're 2 for 20.
And 10 points for the game for Kayvon. Cuts it down to 4. Here's Kenny Gaines. He rimmed out a 3. Back when these two teams got together January 2nd, Florida had 5 players in double figures. They have 1 tonight so far. That was Kayvon Allen after hitting that 3.
Good hustle.
Smith, nice hustle.
The defense has been pretty good, though, and we touched on this in the first half. Both teams are their backbone of their entire program right now is their commitment to play defense in the half court.
Another thud. 2 missed jumpers by Robinson.
I'm not attributing that to all the missed shots that we've seen, but you have to at least credit both these teams for keeping themselves in good position, standing between their man and the basket, making them take contested shots.
Derek Ogbede trying to set a screen, and it was more like a hip check, and he picks up the foul.
See the numbers. Dorian Finney-Smith, we mentioned his numbers off the top, how outstanding he's been. His last 4 road games, he has 3 double-doubles. Not close to that tonight at the offensive end. He has really struggled.
Chioza goes over, has a quick word with Coach White. Allen on the miss, another rebound by Gaines. He's done a nice job on the boards tonight. And Kenny had it stripped as he tried to go coast to coast. Georgia turns it over. Here comes Florida. Finney Smith fouled by Mann, but he prevented what would have been a slam and possibly a three-point play. Mann picks up his third foul. Timeout, 11:35 remaining in the ball game. Georgia clings to a 4-point lead.
I'm Matt Denberg back in our college basketball studios updating you on Iowa State and Baylor over on ESPN2. As you check out the Bears, look at Taurean Prince, the Prince of Rise. Baylor right now 4-point lead. Make sure you catch college basketball live 11 p.m. on ESPN2. Ness, back to you.
All right, and thanks. It's 33-29 here with 11:35 remaining in the ball game. One team shooting 26%. That's Florida. Georgia a whopping 32% from the floor. And at the free throw line, Dorian Finney-Smith. Closing in on 1,100 points in his Florida career.
A tough night for him, though, overall shooting 0 for 5 from beyond the arc, just 1 of 8 from the field. And you look at the last 2 games, he had made a three-pointer in the previous 23 games, and he's 0 for his last 7.
Well, he does make it a 2-point game here.
They need to get him going. It's a 2-point game, and the best player's not playing well.
Whichever team's offense comes out of the Rip Van Winkle thing here the next 11 minutes is going to win the game. Georgia's had back-to-back turnovers.
They're capitalizing on turnovers. Only 5 turnovers in the first half. They've got 4 already in this half.
11 to go, 10 to shoot. Allen straight up with it for 3 and the lead.
And Kayvon Allen, I just love this young man's game. And 8-0 run real quickly, and Florida's got the momentum. And you mentioned just coming out of your offense ever so slightly. That means manufacturing points even at the free throw line. You don't have to even make shots in this game.
10-2 Florida run. Mann finally gets off the schneid. Charles Mann in the lane. By the way, that lead a moment ago was Florida's first of this half, and the first time since early. First time in this half. First time with a lead since early in the first half.
Doing a good job overloading the zone.
And a three-pointer rattled in by Devin Robinson.
All night long they've struggled from 3, and they've just connected on their last 2.
He said they live by it and they die by it at times, and they died by it against Alabama. There is life in it here in the second half. And this crowd has been quieted considerably. Frazier trying to work for a shot from the elbow. And the rebound is Maton. Boy, that was with some authority. Looked like it was going to be all Gators underneath. Deontay Maton muscled his way in there.
And Betty was open underneath.
Here's Maton with the left hand. Rejected out of bounds by Egbunu.
Well, last 2 made shots for the Florida Gators from beyond the arc. Watch Deontay Maton. His hands down, hands down. You got to have your hand up in the shooting face of Kayvon Allen. Too slow to react, and then good ball reversal. Long run off the baseline for Charles Mann. A clean look, and 2 that have gone down for Florida.
So the Gators with a 2-point lead. Mann backs up, takes a 3. Doesn't take many. Buried a big one there. And Georgia trying to come up with a loose ball. Robinson saves it. And nobody cuts off Chiozza.
Somebody's got to rotate over. You can hug your man as much as you want to, but the most important player is who on the floor? The guy with the ball.
Guy with the ball. Georgia's had a tough time with that, with some of the baseline cuts by the guards. And in that case, Chiozza just got an open lane. There's another block shot by Egbunu. 2 block shots in the last 3 trips down court. Robinson, reverse layup, nice move.
You see flashes in Robinson, and you just go, why can't that be consistent? Why can't he bottle that up and consistently bring effort and be able to finish and score? 5 quick points here in the second half off the bench.
Gators' biggest lead of the half. Mayton got a nice entry pass, but he can't get it over at Bunu. But he does draw a foul.
Defense, someone's driving down the middle lane. Somebody's got to step over. Nobody does for Georgia. It's an easy finish, and then this is the glimpse of the talent by Robinson. And he's got to be able to sustain his energy level and focus. If he does, he could be a much better player than he is.
Deontay Mayton at the free throw line. First trip there tonight. He's got 5 points this half.
Deontay Mayton on the verge of getting a double-double again. Talking to Mark Fox, he said Deontay Mayton's done a nice job replacing Marcus Thornton and Nemi as far as his production goes. The biggest difference between last year and this year is they haven't replaced Deontay Mayton.
Right.
Meaning the guy that could come off the bench and provide some toughness, some rebounding, and some point production. They haven't found that consistently yet.
Mark's been searching, that's for sure. But nobody's jumped to the forefront. Under 8 minutes, Kessler with a steal. Dogs can regain the lead this trip. Trying to get it back in J.J. Frazier's hands. He'll do a nice job defending him.
Good help by Dorian Finney-Smith as well. In this lineup, not a lot of scorers on the court right now. Gaines and Frazier are your two scorers.
Frazier, a little hesitation step, got the ball over to Mann, and he was fouled. It might be 3. I don't know if he was on the line or not, as Robinson made a run at him and knocked him down.
Well, we mentioned you got to have some mental toughness from time to time out on the floor, and Devin Robinson leaves his feet and jumps into the shooter. Manufacture points could help you.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com, the obvious choice for hotels, and in part by Sprint.
So skilled.
That was a double. Wow, what a play.
Allen on the drive, and he throws it down.
Johnson, wow, that's another 3 for Marcus Page.
They're so explosive. You think about Hall of Fame coaches, superstar players. There is nothing finer than Duke Carolina.
And again, a battle of top 20s one more time tomorrow night. Duke and North Carolina. Some of the amazing numbers as far as tournament titles and regular season titles. A tale of the tape. Separated by about 9 miles. It'll be fun again tomorrow night. Here is 41-40 in a rivalry that is in its 211th matchup between Florida and Georgia. Both teams have warmed up a little bit in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and whoever can put together a string here in the next 7:23 is going to walk away with their 8th win in conference play and move into that spot where you're in the top 4 in the conference, and you're trying to stay there until Nashville 3 weeks from tomorrow.
You and I can't wait to get to Nashville. Going to be a great time as always, and with what you're talking about, it's going to be absolutely wild when we show up there. Not just because you and I are going to be there.
I was going to say, what are we going to do?
Well, because everything's wide open in the conference race right now. And you've seen that across the conference. I mean, Missouri tonight knocks off South Carolina. The question is, can they regroup? Can they find their swagger back now they've come back to the pack? You know, Kentucky looks like it's starting to hit their stride. LSU doesn't want to go anywhere. And now you're wondering who out of these teams that are 7-5 are going to start separating themselves. I think the team to watch is Vandy. They're the one that had the promise early in the year, the expectations. They weren't playing great basketball, but Wade Baldwin is starting to control the game a lot better, not turn the ball over, and they're playing through Damian Jones.
Vandy is up by 6 right now, we understand. And as I said earlier, they've won 3 of their last 4, as has Georgia. Charles Mann at the free throw line. He gets there more than any Bulldog in history. He's made more than any Bulldog in history. He's never scored more than 10 points against Florida. That's kind of weird. Tonight he has 6.
It makes all of these. He can get to 9, and they're going to need him to score more in the last 7 minutes of this game if they're going to win.
Well, he couldn't talk that one in. Looked a little uneasy on that, as he did the first one, actually. He's a 70% free throw shooter.
Consistently works this whole team, this whole Georgia team, and Mark Fox, every shoot around we go to, a good 40-45% of their shoot around is making free throws. And they put competitions on the line between guys and really try to create a game-like atmosphere. And Mann knocks down 2 or 3. For him, that's really good.
Charles Mann gives Georgia the lead back by 1. 7:19 remaining. Crowd trying to help out now. It's Georgia's defense. It's been so good all night. Trying to come up with a stop, and the littlest guy on the court comes down with a rebound and a lead to Maton, and Maton with a left hand. J.J. Frazier facilitated that from one end of the court to the other. Georgia by 3.
Well, your defense leading to some of the easiest offense we've seen all night. There hasn't been a lot of fast break points.
Finney Smith on the drive, and Maton cuts him off at the pass. 10 on the shot clock. The freshman, tough shot on the baseline for Kayvon Allen. He's got 15 points, 10 in the second half.
He is so tough, and I love his ability to attack and finish over the top of defenders.
Maton rattled it out from the free throw line. Robinson with the rebound. Florida can take the lead back. Aguno short on that one. Pretty good defense by Bede.
Bede would have looked down. Dorian Finney-Smith was standing straight up and out of position defensively on Yante Maton. Would have been a dunk.
Mann tried to get it to Maton. Robinson cuts that attempt off. 8 on the shot clock. Mann's going straight up with it.
And that was not a good possession there, partner.
No. Nobody moving, really. Casey Hill moving through traffic, and again, a Florida guard finds an open avenue.
You know, this is one of those games, we've touched on this time and time again. Neither team able to string together any level of consistency. You have to be aggressive. And when you're not shooting the ball well from the outside, and certainly for Casey Hill, and you know your strengths and weaknesses as a player, utilize the on-ball screens, create a seam and a gap, and look to attack. Georgia's been a step slow, pinching in, helping off of the wing on those type of drives all night.
This would be a huge three-point play. He struggled from the free throw line. That continues. That was last touched by Aguno. Out of bounds. But still, Hill, 1 of 5 from the free throw line, has given Florida the lead back. There's a little full court pressure. They haven't seen a lot of that tonight, Georgia.
A good job by Florida forcing Yante Maton to bring the ball up the floor. He's not comfortable with it, so he breaks the timeline, immediately has to set the offense, and he's not the guy you want facilitating.
Mann drives, does not get the foul. Finney Smith pulls it down. And now Aguno inside over Maton.
And Mark Fox is heated right now, and he's going to call a timeout, and he's upset about the fact that there is no foul called at this end of the floor as Charles Mann drove in. And you can see, Coach, he's jacked up. How important is this game for both of these coaches? The contact underneath, no whistle. It goes back down to the other end, and Aguno able to finish underneath on the nice dunk down. And this is such an important game, and we mentioned this because of where the conference standings are at. Trying to build momentum for Florida. They're trying to recapture the one they let slip away at home against Alabama. And for Georgia, they understand protecting your home court in this particular college basketball season, how much more significance is placed on that, given the fact that everybody struggles on the road.
Let's check in right now. 3-point Florida lead. Captain Obvious, what he's got to say.
Timeouts are typically used when children are in trouble. Did this coach just take a timeout because his team's in trouble?
He just took a timeout because he was trying not to get tossed out of the game, and he wanted to make his displeasure known to the guys in the stripes. And he's still...
Well, if you ask Mark Fox who's in trouble, he'd tell you the guy in the striped shirt is. He was not happy with that call. Timeouts are effective, though. As a parent, I utilize timeouts from time to time.
Frazier for the tie. And Robinson all alone for the rebound. Now Florida in command at the 4.5-minute mark, if you call a 3-point lead command. But the way Georgia struggled offensively tonight, and Bede almost stepped on the baseline, took it away from Maton.
I think it's a rush look for Dorian Finney-Smith, one that he could have turned down.
Had to give it to J.J. Frazier way out near midcourt. And now he drives into some traffic. Tough spot, 6 on the shot clock. Gaines, the senior, going to take a 3. Got it! Tied at 47. Second tie of the half, 4th tie of the game, 3.5 to play. Allen, who's been strong this half, and he knocks down another 3. Wow. 4 threes for Kayvon Allen.
He's got 18.
And Georgia takes a timeout with 3:12 remaining.
Well, for a game that has struggled as far as finding any rhythm and flow, especially from the outside, it's been the 3-point shot. Kenny Gaines steps in and knocks this one down on late shot clock. And Kayvon Allen says, you know what? I got you. I'll see you. Gators up by 3.
Here we go. 5 seconds left in regulation. 4-3 in the win. Got it!
One ball.
They don't want to go home to win. He's never hit a bigger shot. For 3. Oh! He got it! Let the party begin.
Championship week just around the corner for these two teams. Nashville 3 weeks away. They want to be in the top 4 in the conference, and right now Florida's got a 3-point lead with 3:12 to play.
We mentioned Lenardi has Florida in right now. Georgia in consideration.
Frazier feeding inside to Maton. Draws a double team.
Good reaction defensively by Florida.
Maton trying to go up and over everybody. And Florida with a rebound.
Egbunu did a nice job just walling up that time, forcing the shot up over the top enough to make Maton miss.
One more field goal would give Florida their biggest lead of the night. Finney-Smith. And Robinson keeps it alive. Fresh shot clock.
Not a good look, though, by Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, he has been not just off, but way off tonight. 1 of 10 from the field.
Hill working against Maton, of all people. And Egbunu again got free for a slam. And it's a 5-point Florida lead.
And credit Casey Hill. His playmaking ability set up Egbunu underneath.
And boy, Georgia needs offense, and they need it rather quickly now. This is a guy that usually can get it for him. And on the inside, a foul as Casey Hill picks up his second.
We go to the last possession. Watch Casey Hill drive, and as we freeze it right here, this defensive player is stepping over. That opens up Egbunu right there on the outside. An easy dump down pass. Nothing Charles Mann could do when you get the dunk.
Maton again, double team. And a tough pass. It's knocked out of bounds by Hill.
Yeah, shorten that up. I mean, that's too long of a pass with the length and the speed of Florida right now. They're really active at the defensive end of the floor. You've got to be much crisper with the ball if you're Georgia. So this moment right here, You got to try, in my opinion, you try to get something for J.J. Frazier.
I
get
agree.
him going towards the rim.
We'll get him on an open look three. There hasn't been a lot of openings. And Charles Mann waits. Gaines trying to get it to Frazier on the baseline.
Well, you see, but he's closing out and a good job with the deflection, but just dump it down quick. Throw a little bounce pass in there. Don't throw the straight line chest pass. Would have had J.J. Frazier wide open.
And now Mann's going to have to do this himself probably with the amount of clock remaining. Bounce pass to Mayton. That's a tough shot though. And Florida saves it on the baseline, and they're in control right now with 1:15 to go. Georgia's going to have to foul. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, college basketball, great rivalry, Duke and North Carolina. Wednesday Night Hoops, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and ESPN app. Coach K and Roy Williams go at it one more time. Hill, troubled at the free throw line tonight, missed another one, which
you fouled the
door
right guy.
open a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that can open the door here in the final minute of this game. Anytime Casey Hill gets the ball or you can foul him, you foul him and send him to the line.
6 minutes ago, Georgia had a 3-point lead. Florida's been on an 11-3 push since. And now with a minute to play, Georgia needs offense in a hurry.
1 minute, 1 minute.
And that ball kicked by Frazier, I think it was. J.J. kicked it out of bounds. Trying to handle what was another tough pass from a teammate.
They're going to review to make sure that the ball who it went off of, but I think that was pretty clear to you and I both sitting here.
Yep.
The handoff, and it goes, yeah, off the knee of J.J. Frazier. That's going to be a quick one, easy to tell.
Off his right knee, good defense by Casey Hill.
How about the resiliency of Florida?
Yeah.
You know, a win is a win, and sometimes they're not going to be pretty. And sometimes your offense is going to struggle. I mean, in the first half, they shot 5% from three. 5. In the second half, they're shooting 50% from beyond the arc.
Kayvon Allen was really the catalyst of everything, it seemed, offensively in the second half. Now, Ekbunu's gotten some easy baskets underneath, and he's in double figures. But I think the freshman was the guy that turned the course of the game. So now 57.1 remaining. Georgia's got 1 timeout left. Florida has 2.
And a good substitution taking Casey Hill out of the game. They put Chioza in, who's a much better free throw shooter, for the final 55 seconds.
Frazier forced to foul Finney-Smith, just trying to get a quick one. So Finney-Smith, who's 3 out of 4 from the line, will step up there again. Chioza goes back out. Hill comes back in.
And defense offense substitution for Coach White. And Casey Hill hasn't had his best night offensively, but boy, he's done a nice job distributing the ball. 5 assists.
Kenny Gaines with a big rebound to give Georgia at least a chance here. Frazier, short. Mayton got the rebound, trying to get it out of there. And double teamed by Ekbunu and Finney-Smith. Still Georgia ball.
And see, you got to get that ball, and you've got to go right back up with it right away. You cannot hesitate. It's a 5-point game. You need 2, and you need a 3.
Gaines, Mayton. Gaines for 3. Got the roll. Kenny Gaines, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Now to 52 to 50. And Georgia uses its final timeout.
Well, if this doesn't sum up the night offensively, I don't know what does. I mean, it hasn't been pretty for either team, but Kenny Gaines, a good closeout that time by Ekbunu. The ball almost bounces off the top of the backboard to fall in.
So Georgia clinging to hopes here with 36 seconds remaining. Florida ball. Georgia out of timeouts.
And that's a big number. When you think about Florida, they give up only about 9.8 second chance points, 3rd fewest in the SEC, and they've given up 23 in this game tonight. So if you're Mike White, regardless of what happens here, you're going to be talking to your team about shoring up your defensive glass. You cannot give that many second chance looks.
This was the beginning of a schedule for Georgia that they were hoping they could get a home win, where they have been good in home conference games. 5-1 coming in at Vandy, at Auburn, Ole Miss here, at South Carolina, a team they've already beaten, but it would be different probably in Columbia, and then Alabama here in a game Sean and I'll be at before the SEC tournament in Nashville.
Yeah, I'll have actually those last 2 games at South Carolina and then the game here as well, and it's going to be a race to the finish. I mean, nobody in this conference, outside of what appears to be Kentucky right now, is hitting their full stride.
And now Georgia does not have J.J. Frazier out there because they need somebody to foul a Florida Gator that isn't J.J., who has 4 fouls. Florida has struggled at the free throw line in the second half, 3 out of 9. And they get a foul as Gaines fouls Chiozza, who's a 76% free throw shooter.
And this is why the substitution was made and why Hill is on the bench, is because Chiozza is the better free throw shooter. Now he's got to step up in this pressure moment on the road.
Hasn't been there yet tonight.
No.
So Chiozza, the sophomore in Memphis, with the pressure on here with a 2-point lead. No problem. Knocks down the first. This is the more important one. It makes it a 2-possession game.
Still plenty of time on us. 32 seconds. Aggressively get the ball and go. Look to attack.
And both
the guys that can finish best going to the basket and timeout by Florida are Frazier and Mann. Those are the 2 that can really turn the corner and look to attack aggressively.
We showed you Georgia's schedule. Here's Florida and what they have remaining.
You look right now, South Carolina stumbling. Lost the last 2, just lost to Missouri. Are they mentally going to be able to bounce back from this loss at Missouri to refocus themselves and get their feet underneath them Saturday? An opportunity for Florida. You want to ideally split on the road, take care of business at home. Vanderbilt at home, they look like they're playing some better basketball. At LSU is going to be tough. At Kentucky coming to your place on our final Super Tuesday. Not a lot of easy winnable games immediately when you look at that.
You know, you don't usually expect a freshman to change the complexion of a road game in the SEC, but that's exactly what Kayvon Allen has done tonight. Had 5 points in the first half. He had the only first half 3-pointer that went down for Florida, but he's hit 3 in the second half. 13 of his 18 points in this second stanza, and boy, he turned the complexion of the game around without a doubt.
And what I love about Kayvon Allen is just he's a quiet guy. He doesn't make it about him, but he just goes and competes, and he continues to compete every single play. And we were touching on this earlier. You and I were talking about the difference between last year's team and this year's team. I think number 4 and number 15 are the difference makers.
Yeah,
they play hard. You got 15 that adds the muscle underneath. You've got 4 that never stops looking, never stops hunting to make plays on the outside.
And of course, they're the 2 newcomers, one being a freshman, one being a transfer that didn't play a year ago. 4-point game, 32 seconds to go. J.J. Frazier will run it up. Looking for a screen, looking for Kenny Gaines for a 3. Got it! Georgia doesn't have a timeout left. Gaines with 3 threes in the half. The ball's dead on the floor right now. And finally, Florida will inbound.
Well, Florida not calling the timeout, and Casey Hill is out on the floor.
And they're trying to foul Finney Smith. No whistle. Finally, one comes with just under 20 seconds to go.
What a shot by Kenny Gaines. J.J. Frazier comes off the screen up top. Casey Hill hesitates and pinches in. And if you're going to pinch in, then you've got to close out from the back line of your zone defense. That didn't happen, and Kenny Gaines knocked it down.
Kenny with 3 threes in this half has made it a 1-point game. Finney Smith will shoot 2. And rips the first one. Even with this, if it goes, still a 1-possession game with just under 20 seconds to play in regulation. And he got them both. Pressure free throws.
Coach White telling his team, do not foul.
J.J. Frazier, they know how good a three-point shooter he is, and with that, they don't want him loose for a three-point shot, and Casey Hill fouls him.
Funny thing was he said do not foul. And they go ahead and do it, which is a smart move actually, because it's only, I believe, the 6th team foul, 5th team foul. So you've got a couple fouls you can give here, take more time off the clock.
Frazier. Time winding down and running out, and they do foul again as he got a shot away. Here's the updated standings. We understand Vanderbilt lost at the buzzer, so they fall to 7-6.
How about Mississippi State? Ben Howland's team showing some fight and grit.
Under 10. Gaines way outside. No good. Florida rebound. And they're not going to get a foul called until 2.4 seconds remain.
Well, good job utilizing timeouts.
It was a long shot at best, and Gaines was way out there, fairly well defended. And now Kayvon Allen, the guy that is going to get the credit for the most part for a Florida victory. If he hits one more free throw, it's, well, that one came out, but still, Georgia's going to have, if he misses this, a prayer with 2.4 to go.
And imagine a foul to make it a one-on-one situation, and you're not going to allow the three-pointer to even get up, but it doesn't matter now.
It anyway. And Frazier will take a desperation heat at half court, and Georgia disappointing with a home loss. Florida ecstatic with what Mike White told us today is so hard to come by. A win on the road in the SEC.
Well,
and that's what they get.
You take a look at where they're at right now. You had to get one back after losing to Alabama at home, and that's exactly what Florida did. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
Florida wins it 57-53. And they go to 8-5 in conference play. Georgia falls to 7-6. That's going to do it for us from Stegeman Coliseum in Athens. For Sean Farnham, Brad Nessler saying good night from Athens. Sports Center is next.
And Brad mentioned it, 3 weeks away from the start of the SEC tournament. Big victory for Florida. Much more college basketball ahead on this rather unique Sports Center. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Levy, and as you can see, I'm all alone. See, it's a different show in that there was a bit of a scheduling mishap. They couldn't find a co-anchor for me. Butcher, Gross, and Anderson, they're in Chapel Hill for tomorrow.